fire this fucker up.
All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, SHIPIT Nation YouTube station? I got my guy Gyiraszin. We're coming off fresh, little turf wars up in Gyiraszin stomping grounds over the weekend there. It was nice to get with the crew. It was nice to share some beverages and some bowling. Kick your ass in some bowling. I know you have some words to talk about that kind of bowling we were playing there, but nonetheless, it was fun to hang out with you. Fun to hang out with the crew up there in Detroit. But man, we got massive night in baseball ahead of us here on DraftKings. A Millie Maker up top. It is a high stakes entry, but many of you out there probably win your way in on satellites, and we'll do our best to break it down the best we can. One of the biggest baseball nights I've ever seen in the DraftKings lobbies, if not the biggest. Not too often do you get a million up in the MLB streets. Gyiraszin, how you doing, man? Happy Tuesday, brother.
Yeah, definitely don't get a million too often. But hey, Tuesday is always a good night. Tuesday and Fridays are usually good nights for tournaments. But yeah, everybody from SHIPIT came into the Detroit area for the live event. I didn't make it over the golf. I was juggling all kinds of different things I had to take care of. But it was fun hanging out. We went to this bar in Detroit. It was, I forgot the name of the Tap House or something. But they gave you a wristband. You got to just like tap your wristband and pour your own drink. They had like 50 things on the wall. That shit's dangerous, man, because I was telling Nades, you're drinking it way faster because you don't got to wait for some waitress to bring your drink back or, bartender pour it up. Like it was pretty quick, but I thought the concept was pretty cool. But yeah, they had bowling. It was like candlestick bowling. Somebody called that out last time we were on the show. And yeah, that's not my thing. That kind of bowling there, Nades. That's just not it. But hey, it was fun. It was a good time. But really the fun was, Nades, that you didn't even bring up. These guys on the show, literally, before we were there on Friday, basically call some home run calls. There was 4 guys, and Nate parlays it for a $10 free bet. And he wasn't even paying attention. The last guy, he was saying, like, for an hour, I need Caminero. Caminero's up on his last at-bat, and I see Nade's over there. He's yapping. He's just going to town. He's not even paying attention. I thought, I ain't even going to say shit. So then he literally crushes one. I'm like, hey, Nade's. You just won $4,000. He's like, what? He comes running over, and then he realizes he won, and then it turned up the volume a little bit in that bar. I think the rest of the people there realized we were a bunch of degenerates at that point, Nades. But yeah, and then we go over to the Motor City Casino and had a little fun. Everybody was playing their game, doing their thing, and when you're like they were mentioning, you're in there with Hoop, and they got the FanDuel in the Motor City Casino. Hoop gets the they blow the horn. The Royal Master is here. They freaking go crazy when Hoop walks in. So, he gets all the free shit, everything. It's good times. But, yeah, I mean, good time to hang out with everybody. But, hey, we got a big old slate to break down. We got 12 flipping games. I think pitching kind of blows today. I mean, obviously, Brown's pretty easy for us to look at, but some of the other spots, the decent pitchers got some shitty matchups. I'm not fooling with the Mets, man. Like I can't fool with the Mets right now. They're hitting out of this world. So, that's one of the better pitchers that, we got tonight. So it's just like, pretty good little fun slate. I think we can, maybe get a little bit different here, but yeah, let's figure it out, Nades. I think, shit. So the other thing, Nades is so hot, right? We're sitting there and I'm at the blackjack table and I got about $250 in my hand and I was just playing quarters, right? And Nades goes, Gyiraszin, you're going to get a blackjack guaranteed. And I looked at him and first thing went through my mind is, dude, this dude's on a heater. He literally won a 4-bet parlay on home runs. Like everything he's touching, he's winning. Fuck it. I put my whole stack up there. I did keep 2 back because I wanted to play again. All 200 and I ain't shitting you. I got blackjack. It was good time. So yeah, just some good time stories, but always fun to hang out with the boys.
Yeah, no, it was a blast, and yeah, Hoops got royalty treatment there, and then his boy Nadir, if it ain't Hoop, it's Nadir. Both of them together, man, they roll out the red carpet, they blow the horns, and they literally dust your shoes off and give you anything you want. So it's always a fun time there. Obviously, Hoop's been playing on FanDuel since I've been in diapers, so that helps a little bit when the sports book and FanDuel has a lot to do with the establishment you're at there. But yeah, no, it was a fun time. Shout out to Ham and our guy Rio on the show on Friday, nailing those 4 home runs. I did parlay them. I was already in on one of the calls, so it felt good to double down there and turn that into it. But yeah, we got a massive slate here tonight. Gang Green's in here, Ross, Jake Swales, Lucky. You want to talk about Nick? I mean, our guy LSU Nick, just a freaking dart hustler. This dude brought his own steel tip darts all from New Orleans to dust our ass in some freaking steel tip darts, and then he's telling me I'm showing him how to shoot darts. Like, nah, come on, buddy.
Yeah, I saw him dusting y'all. He was dusting you. It wasn't even. He didn't even look concerned. He was just like
he was throwing opposite handed with a blindfold on, just dusting us. But hey, no, it was fun. Wardle is in here. Everybody, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a ton. Gyiraszin, while I'm pulling up our friend SaberSim here. You alluded to, right, the pitching is kind of gross. It's Hunter Brown, and then it's everyone else, realistically, right? So I ran the dry run here. I have it sorted by projected score aggregate of our projections and SaberSim here. And you see the exposures. It's 94% Hunter Brown, and then kind of everybody else, right? Dylan Cease, who is probably going to be the second highest owned pitcher on the slate, which goes along with the dry run there. And then it's Bassett, Luzardo, Minaya. And then just everybody else. When you flip over to team stacks, you look at that. You look at that game stack out there, Texas and LA, which not to mention is the worst hitting park in all of baseball on the year. The reason the stacks are going to them is because it allows you to spend up for the C's to get to the Hunter Browns of the world. So that's kind of what the dry run's spitting. Take that for what it's worth there. We'll do our best to kind of break it down here. Gyiraszin, I'll throw it over to you right away. 8K and above, you got Luis Heel all the way up to Hunter Brown at 11K down to 8K. You got Kikuchi there, who I think is slightly interesting play, especially if Texas bats are going to pick up some ownership there. You know what Kikuchi is. If he's rolling, he's going to get you 6-7 strikeouts, going to go 100-plus pitches. If he's not, they're still going to let him throw as many pitches as he can handle as long as it's not where he's getting just absolutely shellacked. He might get a home run or two, but 8,300 going to be fairly low owned. I think Kikuchi's a really interesting play on the slate myself personally, but what do you see here in this 8K range and above?
Yeah, pitching's pretty it's not very good today. I think you might have to make some decisions that you may not want to make because I mean, between the two sites, Kikuchi's 8,300 on DK, which I think he'll be pretty popular on DK, but on FanDuel he's 9,600. But so I mean, there's some pretty big difference there. So I think Kikuchi on DK, I think, is going to be a pretty popular SP2. I got to imagine him and Brown probably be probably two popular guys, I would assume today. But just moving on with Heel, I mean, just coming off his injury, you know, like I'm just a little concerned about that. I mean, I don't mind the matchup there, but I mean, he just hasn't been really. He hasn't pitched all too much. Where's his pitch counts here? You know, mid-90s, mid-80s. I mean, he gets a decent matchup. I'm kind of concerned a little bit about the upside, but I still wouldn't throw him out of my pool. And Luis Castillo, I don't think I could click that button. That would be a tough one for me. I'd have to be pretty deep before I consider Castillo against a San Diego team that really doesn't strike out too much. I think Kikuchi against Texas is interesting. For me, I think he's the guy that I would probably, you know, I think he's a little bit safer. I mean, now Semion's out, you know, Carter's been out. So, I mean, I just think against a lefty, I think he's got a pretty good matchup. I think his price is really fair. You know, I mean, he hasn't, you know, fared all that well his last 3 starts. He's at 17 points, 2 points, 15 points. But, you know, the leash is there, we know. But I think the strikeout matchup is there against Texas for Kikuchi. Now Bassett against the Minnesota team, I don't know. It's just that doesn't really tickle it for me. I don't think it's an awful play, but I don't really love it. I wouldn't mind liking Gore against the Yankees. I think that is more of like a pivot for me. I mean, you know, Gore's had a 29% strikeout rate. We know there's some obviously power in that Yankees lineup, but, you know, maybe he can get a few strikeout for us. 8,500. I'd keep that one in my pool. Boyd against San Francisco. I don't really mind that at all. Obviously, the park, you got a fly ball pitcher out there in San Francisco. We don't mind the park. So I don't mind Boyd at all. I mean, his ERA is low. I mean, he's got 22%. He's about average for strikeouts, but we know Boyd don't get beat up too much. Now, Luzardo against the Mets, I think it's interesting, but damn, man, you look at the last 2 weeks as far as hitting goes, the Mets are absolutely smoking the baseball. I mean, they're almost 60 points higher than everybody else, which is the Yankees in second place, and they're 150 points higher than the third place team in OPS the last 3 weeks. I mean, they are really crushing the baseball. So it's kind of hard for me at this point to be staring down the Mets at this point. I think Cease against Seattle is interesting. We know we got a little bit of strikeouts out there in that Seattle lineup, but man, Seattle's been hitting too. I mean, we know the big dumper got his big 50th banger last night, which is definitely impressive. And then you got Mizrowski. I mean, we kind of know the Brewers are holding him back a little bit. They're gonna limit his pitch count. So I mean, the kid's got the stuff. I mean, he's been walking some guys a little bit more. I mean, what ends up happening is, the word gets out on a scouting report, and they're gonna make him throw some pitches. So I mean, his leash just isn't too long, so I really don't like the upside with Mizrowski. I'd pretty much scratch him off anyway, especially against an Arizona team. But Hunter Brown is the obvious play. I mean, Colorado blows, dude. They got one damn run against Pittsburgh. Their pitching staff, I mean, they're just bad. I'm thinking to myself, could the White Sox last year, I think, would have kicked this Colorado's team's ass, and they had the most losses in the history of baseball. But yeah, Hunter Brown is the obvious one, I think, especially at 11K. I mean, to me, like on FanDuel, if I'm playing in, the 400 person Grand Slam, which I generally play a couple lineups in every night, I'm thinking, if he's 50% owned, I already feel like half the pool made a mistake. So I think I'm just going to jam Brown on FanDuel on the one pitcher site. And, maybe if I would, you could go down to like maybe Manaea or somebody could get a little bit lower if you wanted to do something like that. But Nades, I just don't think there's any high-end pitching we really need to worry about. I do think Hunter Brown's matchup is, I mean, it's about as, in my opinion, and that'll probably blow up my face, but, it's about as safe and I feel good about it as you can. I mean, the Rockies blow, man. So, especially down there in Houston, it's not in Coors. But, yeah, I think Brown's the safest play for me. That's where I'd end up going. But, man, there ain't much above here that I fear up there above 8K. So I don't mind even taking some shots on guys you like today. I don't think there's really any clear path. I think the two guys today are going to be Brown and Kikuchi. I think everybody else is going to be mixed in. I don't think anybody after that, maybe Cease might have a little bit more ownership and maybe come in third. But I don't think you're going to see too much ownership on some of these guys down below. I mean, it gets ugly pretty quick as far as especially upside goes, Nate. So to me, I think to me, Kikuchi, just give his price over there on DK. Manaea, I mean, I don't mind that, but damn, I'll tell you what, Schwarber and Harper can hit the shit out of some lefties. So, I think, that's a little bit of a concern. But, I mean, man, pitching's thin today. As many games as we have, I think, we generally have more options. But, like last week, I think we had 5 or 6 good options up at the top. But I don't think that's the case. I really don't feel like you're going to get burned in pitching today. But I do think if Brown has a really big game, which is definitely possible today, then you're going to have Brown. I think he's about the only guy I feel like is in that boat here today, Nades, that could really, get us above that 9, maybe double-digit Ks today.
Yeah, no, I agree with a lot of what you said there. I'll start with that Brown. There's some talking points that people I think are just trying to find ways to talk themselves off of Brown. Why not just play Brown and take it for what it's worth, especially in smaller field, single entry type stuff. Brown is going to be so owned in small field single entry stuff due to the nature of the pitching slate that if he goes out there and puts out his 30-point DraftKings game, you're dead. If he doesn't, well, you're still live because everybody else has him too. Yeah, you might be not as likely to take all the way top first place, right? But they still need to nail their bats. They still need to nail everything there. So for me, it's Hunter Brown. I'm fine being overweight the field on a 40% owned Hunter Brown in this matchup against the Rockies. It's just The game's in Houston. The ballpark sucks. It's good for pitching. The lineup sucks. Everything's just, I mean, I don't care about his velocity in that. If he was playing a different team, I'd be a little bit more worried. But, I mean, he's playing the Rockies. You look at the last 30 days, his strikeouts have dropped tremendously against righties, which is slight concern because Colorado is throwing 8 righties against him. He's down to a 15% K rate the last 30 days against righties there. But you look at between this year and last year, he's up to 25% to righties there. Lefties is where he really gets a ton of strikeouts. Unfortunately, he's only going to see one of them. So, I mean, you can make the case against any pitcher, and I get it. He is 11K. He is the highest owned pitcher in a spend up. So if you wanted to pivot, I wouldn't fault people for pivoting in large field stuff. Single entry, 3 max cash. I think you just eat the Hunter Brown chalk and get different elsewhere. Maybe you don't pair him with a Dylan Cease. That's one way to get different right there. Dylan Cease is going to be the second highest owned pitcher on the slate. Has a decent, actually a pretty solid strikeout matchup here against Seattle. Good pitcher's ballpark that we like to go to. K prop 6.5, pretty heavy juice on the over as well. Second best on the slate there. So Vegas tends to agree. I'm in line with Dylan Cease. I think he's a good play. I have caution on Luzardo. Sanchez burned my ass last night with the Mets. I just barely missed a seat for this 3K milli maker here tonight with Christopher Sanchez there and the Scooball earn run. So combo pack there. So I have a little sour taste in my mouth, but it's not only that. It's just, number one, I don't think Luzardo's as good as Christopher Sanchez. And number two, the Mets, you could throw Cy Young himself out there right now, and the Mets could hit him. They're just super patient right now at the plate. You saw Sanchez was rolling the first 3-4 innings of that game, and then they started getting more patient, taking pitches, and then he has to come with a meatball, right? And guys like Lindor, Vientos is red hot right now. Obviously got Alonso, Soto. The team's just red hot. So for me, I'm out on Luzardo. I think Matthew Boyd's really interesting here. I don't think many people click his name. Matthew Boyd's been having a hell of a season, 8,700, and on a slate where pitching is kind of sporadic. I'll take my chances on Matthew Boyd, who's not going to get played, and I know has a ceiling against a Giants team that has a lot of strikeouts in that lineup and in one of the best pitching environments on the slate. So give me some Matthew Boyd. I think he's a really good tournament option here tonight. You look at his K prop 4.5 only, but minus 160, minus 150 on the over. So pretty heavy juice there, which is right in line with a lot of these other guys on the slate, and he's not going to be owned as such. So I have interest in Matthew Boyd as well. Kikuchi, I'm not sure why Kikuchi's not getting more ownership here. And I mean, projections are pushing Texas bats. I'll tell you that right now, because it allows you to play Dylan Cease and Hunter Brown and still get a good secondary stack of high-priced guys, more than likely out in that Detroit-Sacramento game later on in the slates. Because right now, Kikuchi's going to be pretty low owned. I filtered to high stakes ownership. He's got him. They got him at sub 10% ownership. Do I think that's probably a little light? Yeah, but I don't think he comes in much more than 10 to 15% owned here. And with a guy that I know has the least that Kikuchi has at 8,300 at this ownership against Texas, who's going to probably pick up ownership on the bat side of things just due to projections alone and salary cap, give me some Kikuchi at 8,300. He's my second favorite pitcher on the slate. Actually, points per dollar wise, he's probably my favorite pitcher overall on the entire slate, even with Hunter Brown, when you factor in 8,300 versus 11K there. So those are kind of the guys I'm focused on. I think you could play Bassett. I just don't really have much interest in playing a Bassett that's going to be 20 to 25% owned against a Twins team that does have some power. They got some lefty power in there, and I'm just never been a Bassett guy. I don't know what to think of him. He can have a pitch count. He can be decent. I'm just never a Bassett guy, so I'm not going to play Bassett. I think he's still a reasonable play, but you're not going to get different there. So I'd rather not follow the field with a guy like Chris Bassett and play the pivots around him. Guys like Kikuchi, Matthew Boyd, Mackenzie Gore are the kind of the pivots I'm looking around. Luzardo and Bassett, who are going to get played much more than Boyd, Gore, and Kikuchi in tournaments. So that's where I'm kind of going. I'm not messing with Luis Gil coming off that injury. I'm not touching Castillo against that Padres team there. So for me, it's Hunter Brown like everybody, Dylan Cease like everybody, and then my tournament guys are Boyd, Kikuchi, and Mackenzie Gore there on the other side of that Yankees lineup. Yeah, they have a ton of power, but they also have a ton of strikeouts. I mean, Brad Lord had, 6-7 strikeouts yesterday against the Yankees team. Yeah, he gave it up a lot, but Mackenzie Gore is a better strikeout arm than Brad Lord is. Let's drop down below 8K here. A couple guys I want to throw out for you, Gyiraszin. We talked about Sean and I think he's definitely viable at his price point of 7,600 with the nature of the pitching slate alone. Talk about Justin Verlander down at 6,800. I think people click his name just because, number one, his name alone, Justin Verlander, but it's not obviously the same Justin Verlander it has been. For me, I don't like it against this Cubs offense, but at 6,800, there is strikeouts in that lineup, even with Tucker and them at the top. But Cubs have started to hit the ball a little bit. Kyle Tucker's finally coming back into his groove a little bit like that. I just don't want to play Justin Verlander at 6,800. I'd rather take a shot on a guy like Palante or Patrick Corbin, to be honest with you, all the way down at the bottom, if that's the case. But realistically, it's pretty gross down here. My favorite guy would be Manaea. Any other guys you see down here that you have interest in?
Yeah, I mean, Verlander has been actually pitching pretty well in the last month or so. I mean, his K percentage has been almost 34% his last 30 days to the left side of the plate. So, I mean, we obviously know the Cubbies got some pretty heavy bats from the left side that, do have some I mean, they don't really have too much strikeout. Suzuki has the the highest strikeout percentage at 26. But that's the thing I don't really care for. I just don't care for the matchup for Verlander. I mean, he's been pitching really well. His ISO, he's given up to both sides of the plates in the around the 120 range, which has been good. His fly balls have been down from where he was earlier in the season. So, I mean, it's there, but the matchup of the Cubs is just something that would scare me off him, especially if I was looking for an SP2. Now, the one I'm going to say, you can call me a homer all you damn want, but I think Charlie Morton is interesting as a pivot, even though that game does have a pretty high over-under. Now, if any of you guys follow, I think it was the Pitching Ninja just here recently, they were showing clips of Charlie's curveball in his breaking pitches in his last. I mean, they were breaking off the table. So, I mean, who knows? Charlie came to a new team. Maybe he's got him a little trick or something, got him a little sticky shit on his hand or something, because I don't know what's going on, man. That breaking ball was just humming off the top of a table. So, Charlie's been looking pretty good here in recent times. The bottom of that A's lineup does have some strikeouts. I mean, Charlie's last two starts, I mean, he's had 23 strikeouts his last 16 innings. So, I mean, I don't mind it. I think it's it's not like I'm really afraid of the A's. I don't love the park, obviously, because of where they're at. I mean, it looks like, they're playing up at the corner, up at the high school. And I heard it's been a little chillier, too, in Sacramento. I think there's a cold front. It's been high 70s, low 80s. So, it's not like it's super warm out there either. So, but I think Morton is a little bit interesting, somebody that maybe I look at. I don't mind Manaea, but, man, I just don't love that matchup there against Philly because, dude, Schwarber and Harper are lefty killers, man. Like those guys, I do not like playing lefties against Philadelphia. It's just not something I care to do. And there's really nothing else down below. I'm not playing Corbin. Corbin absolutely has been terrible. Palante, too much of a ground ball. He sucks. Gordon's got no strikeouts. Beatle's terrible. I can't play Nick Martinez against the Dodgers, even though, man, that Dodger lineup's been watered down quite a bit here. It seems like in recent times, especially at the bottom. It just seems like the only top 4 or 5 guys are only guys that you'd even want to roster. But, there's just really nothing, that I really like. I mean, you want to maybe think about, Lorenzen even possibly as somebody you could take a shot on. But, man, the White Sox have been actually kind of scary here in recent times, too, been hitting the ball a little bit. So, really today, I think, pitching should be spread out. I think that's why Hunter Brown's going to be so highly. I think everybody, for the most part, is probably going to have some Hunter Brown today. Like, how can you not? But, I think, some of these guys down below definitely are risky. I mean, maybe, like I said, you want to take a shot on Verlander, but truthfully, I'd rather go up to a Johnny Morton who's in a new team, different situation, a winning team. He's out there against the A's. I don't know. He's been pitching well his last 2 out of 3 starts. He's got, pretty much the 20. I think Morton's a guy I'd look at. Heel maybe. He's coming off an injury, so it's still a gamble. You don't know where you're going to get. You don't know what kind of, option your, pitch count. He did get up to 90. So really, Nate's pitching's kind of a bitch today. But, I think Kikuchi gets steamed up a little bit just because they're going to look at the price, 8,300. And, I mean, really that matchup against Texas isn't too bad, especially, like we said, with Carter being out, Semien being out. But, I mean, pitching's tough today. I think you just got to watch out for the landmines today. I think is more like it. I think Brown and then don't step in the shit. That's where we're at. And I think some of these guys that are going to be getting some ownership may not, fare too well. But I don't think you're going to win it at pitching, but I think you could lose it if you don't play Brown.
Yeah, that's a very good way to put it there. I agree with a lot of what you said. I think Charlie Morton is interesting. I know his home road splits are in there, but a lot of that was spent when he was with Baltimore, right? Different organization, obviously part of a winning program here. Vegas tends to agree. His K-prop sitting at 5.5, juice the over there. So I think Charlie Morton is definitely an interesting play. Luis Gil going back up to that 8K range, I think he's also interesting. He's got a good K-prop as well. He did get up to 93 pitches in his first start coming off that injury there. There is still some issues there, but this Washington team is just not very good. So I think Luis Gil in that Charlie Morton range there is interesting. I'm in on Sean Manaea. I get the reasonings there with Harper and Schwarber, but I mean, you look at Sean Manaea, he's really good against lefties in general. Just limits power in general overall. So I'll take my chances on a Sean Manaea at 7,600. I think he's fine. And then the other guy I will include is Palante, just down at 6K flat. I view him much like the Jose Soriano play yesterday. Not quite the strikeout upside that a Soriano can display there, but turbo ground baller here against the Pittsburgh team that just sucks in general. I mean, this entire team hits the ball on the ground. There's 2 fly ball hitters on this entire roster in Sawinski and Henry Davis. I just don't think but I don't think they can do a ton of damage against Palante there. So if you do need the salary, punting all the way down to the bottom, I think you could take that, and Palante could get you 12 to 15 DraftKings points. And depending on what that gets you for bats with like a Hunter Brown at the top or something like that, could win the slate that way. So for me, realistically summing it up, it's Hunter Brown, Kikuchi are my 2 favorite guys. Then it would be Cease, Boyd, Charlie Morton, Luis Gil probably, with Mackenzie Gore and Palante kind of as my sleeper tournament guy. Not sleepers, but my lower owned pivots in those ranges is kind of what I'm looking at there from a pitching breakdown. Let's jump over, talk offense here. If pitching is like it is the way we had talked about it, there's got to be a lot of offense that we can talk about. That's definitely the case that I see here. We're starting on the first game. Luis Gil, Mackenzie Gore, we talked about both of these arms, but again, neither of them are that crazy. Mackenzie Gore has been really bad as of late for the most part. Yankees have been smashing the baseball here. Bad Nationals bullpen behind him as well. Yankees needed him last night. Do you need him here again tonight against a much different pitcher in Mackenzie Gore? What's your breakdown here?
You know, I mean, I don't like the Yankees as much as I did yesterday, but I mean, Gore does tend to give up some power. So especially, you know, from the right side. So, you know, guys like Judge, Goldschmidt, I think are interesting. I don't think you're going to see too many people on him today, but I wouldn't discount that. I mean, you know, Gore can get wild at times too, and walk guys, but he's just been pitching pretty well. I don't think on a big slate like today that you really need to jam it. But hey, if I'm playing a handful of teams, I think I definitely include the Yankees. I just don't think tonight's the night. But if you do, I think the righties are where you want to be looking at.
Yeah, Yankees haven't been great against left-handed pitching. Obviously, they're built to smash righties with all of their power lefties in there. If I was going to them, it'd be Goldschmidt and Stanton would be the 2 guys. Obviously, you can play Judge if you want to. I just don't love paying that much for Aaron Judge right now. He's battling something. He can always snap out of it, always any time, but he's 6,400. I'm prioritizing again spending for a guy like Hunter Brown. So I think Goldschmidt at 3,600 and Stanton at 5,200 are my 2 favorite bats, but they're not a spot that I love too much. And it's not like Luis Gil's getting a ton of ownership either, or Mackenzie Gore. So for me, not a game that I'm too interested in, which isn't always the case when we're talking about Yankee Stadium here, but it's just the way the slate sets up for me tonight. I will say it is good weather here for hitting, wind blowing out to that short porch in right field. So at about 6 to 10 mile an hour, I'm seeing temperatures in the mid 70s, the duration of this game. So is an added boost to some of those hitters, especially the lefties there.
I think Goldie's a pinch hit risk. Him and Stanton. Rice will come in and pinch hit for him as soon as they bring in a righty.
Yeah, good point there. With Rice not starting there for
Grisham could come in immediately too for Stanton. You know, they'll. I think those guys get pinch hit.
Yeah, it depends what the score of the game is for sure. they could give him a day off, especially with their outfield issues that they have going on, where Judge can only DH right now, so they're messing. They're playing around with their outfield, and then obviously Stanton, and they got all of that there. So good point there for sure. Next game on, Blue Jays smashed the ball yesterday. I think more of the same could be coming here against Bailey Ober. I don't think Bailey Ober is a very good pitcher in general. Gives up a ton of left-handed power. I think the lefties here are very, very interesting for me for the Toronto side. Guys like Barger, Nathan Lukes, Jimenez. I don't see Dalton Varsho in this lineup, which does kind of suck in general.
How do they not do that?
Yeah, I don't know why they're not having – I mean, it looks like – I think Lukes is a really good play at 3,800. Jimenez at 3K at second base is a really good play. You can definitely include the righties there, but, I mean, I don't know why they didn't put Dalton Varsho in there. He would have been one of my favorite plays on the slate. Bailey Ober has been really, really good against righties in terms of strikeouts. Still allows power and fly balls. So if you wanted to go to the Blue Jays, it'd be the fly ball guys for me. From the right side, guys like Clement, Alejandro Kirk, Vlad Guerrero are your main fly ball hitters there. But talk to me, any interest in hitters here in Toronto?
Yeah, I mean, Ober, when he's bad, he sucks. I mean, his strikeout percentage to lefties is pretty low. He's just barely about average against righties. But, he's got a 362 WOBA to the left side. His fly ball percentage is, 35.5, 31.5 to the right side. So that's definitely concerning. And he gets barreled up quite a bit. I mean, 12.5% by righties, 9.5% by lefties. So, the Blue Jays can definitely get to this guy. They got a bad bullpen. I mean, that Minnesota team got decimated at the trade deadline.
Yeah, not to mention, too, their bullpen. I mean, Hatch threw 54 on Saturday. He's probably not going again today. Ole threw 46 on Sunday. Kriske threw 37 yesterday, and then Cabrera threw 22 yesterday. So, I mean, you're looking at the back half of this bullpen. Tonkin, Topa, Sands, Futterberg. I mean, they're just it's brutal. So their bullpen, I mean, they could leave Bailey Ober out here to dry, to be honest. And then if he's out of there, you got shitty arms coming in. I think the Blue Jays are one of the best stacks on the slate. Yeah, I mean, I think the Blue Jays are one of the best stacks on the slate. Twin side, I think the lefties against Bassett, Matt Wallner again. Julian at 2,100. I think he's a really, really good value play there. James Outman has been good since coming over for the Twins. I think he's a solid value. I like the Twins value lefties here. You get a lot of them. My favorite guy being Wallner, Julian. I think that two-man is really interesting there against Bassett there. But the Blue Jays pen is really good, so I would keep it to mini stacks only. I would probably avoid Julian as a one-off. I don't love a guy like Julian where he could get pinch hits, especially in Minnesota as a one-off. But again, he's 2,100, doesn't break the bank. So, that's kind of my breakdown there. Throw it over to you right away, Gyiraszin here. Sean Manaea, Luzardo. Mets been one of the hottest teams in baseball. Luzardo, he's above average pitcher, obviously. He's solid, but he has had his flashes of getting absolutely tattooed and blown up here in certain occasions. You mainly want righties against Luzardo. So guys like Vientos and Alonso, I think, are two of the better plays on the slate at their low ownership there. Marte too. So a little three-man stack, little Marte, Alonso, Vientos, 3-4-5, I think is really interesting. But talk to me here, Mets and the Phillies.
I mean, I don't really want to pick on either side of this. I think, both pitchers are decent. I just don't see the upside as far as bats go. But, you mentioned Vientos. That dude's been absolutely on fire here in recent times. Luzardo, it's just not somebody I generally would want to pick on. But you mentioned, he does get hit a little harder from the right side, 336 WOBA to the right side, 209 to the left side. Ground ball percentage way higher to the left side. I think, Vientos, just ride the hot bat. That's somebody you're looking for a one-off, maybe at third base. But, I'll disrespect both pitchers enough to where on a big slate like this, with all the games and options we have, it's just not something that I think has much upside.
Yeah, I tend to agree there, too. The park does suck as well. Not a great park for hitting overall. Next game on the slate, Brandon Pfaadt. Jacob Mizorowski, we didn't talk about him too much. Obviously a fireballer here. Struggles with command at times, but still has a ton of strikeout upside. I think he be an interesting. I probably won't play him in MM or in single entry 3-max stuff. There's just too much risk there. But I mean, anytime you're getting a dude that has almost a 13K per 9 metric at home here, even with the pitch count concerns that he has against this D-backs team, the guys at the back half of this lineup, I mean, Blaze Alexander, Alec Thomas, Moreno, McCarthy. I mean, there's a lot of strikeouts in that lineup. I think he's interesting at the top tier. Obviously, 9,500 is a steep price, but he's sandwiched right between Hunter Brown and Dylan Cease, who are going to be light years more owned, and those guys aren't bulletproof by any means either. So I think him at the top tier, that's enough to take me off the D-backs here. Brewers, they never look good on paper. I talk about it all the time, but Brandon Pfaadt, Brewers been one of the better teams, especially against right-handed pitching in general. I mean, you look at the last 30 days, Bryce Terang numbers jump off the charts. Yelich, Collins, they murder righties realistically. So I think the Brewers are an interesting stack again. Nobody ever plays them. We know how bad that D-backs bullpen is, and they're super affordable, super cheap. I think the Brewers are a really good tournament stack here again tonight.
Yeah, I don't mind the Brew Crew. I was going to say the same thing. Probably my low-owned stack that I'd be looking at. I mean, you mentioned Pfaadt. I mean, Woba in the 340s to both sides. He does have a little bit of a ground ball lean. Doesn't get the ball up in the air too much. So, obviously we're going to want some guys that have some fly balls in their arsenal. And, the Brewers, that does concern me a little bit. They don't get the ball up in the air all that much, especially the top half. Terang and Montecero probably the best two, but they're all in like the mid 20% range, maybe a couple in the high teens. But I mean, you mentioned Yelich. Vaughn's been hitting a little better. Collins a little bit. I think I'd like a more of a mini stack. But yeah, especially that bullpen you mentioned is just absolutely terrible. So something that you want to get after. And two, I mean, the Brew Crew too. I mean, they steal bags. They do it all, man. Like that's just a team that definitely's got their foot on the gas pedal all the time. So in kind of football terms, they're like running the run and shoot. There's constantly trying to put pressure on the other team. So I don't mind that, especially when I'm stacking up the Brew Crew.
Yeah, I'm starting with the lefties here. I mean, Fa's just been really, really bad the last month. 14% K rate to both sides of the plate, 223 ISO allowed. Yeah, he doesn't allow a ton of fly balls, but the Brewers, that's not how they beat you, right? They score a lot of fantasy points because they steal bases, and I mean, I'll take a double to the gap that scores too. I mean, I'll take that. Yeah, you don't always need home runs. Home runs are always great and nice, but at these price points with their upside, I mean, I think they're a really good stack. Nobody plays them ever. And you get the added bad bullpen behind them too. So give me a low on Brewers team here tonight on a slate where offense is not great, but the spots that seem great in general are also going to be owned. So I like looking for pivots that have similar upside, and I think the Brewers fit that build. Next game on the slate, I know this is your favorite team on the entire slate here. It's the Royals, your favorite team to talk about in DFS. There's a time, I mean, Martin Perez, I don't think he's a very good pitcher. He's pitched well over his head. It seems like the case for all of these pitchers that go to Chicago here, pitching over their head here. He's shown his flashes of heavy upside. I don't think it's the case here against a low strikeout team in the Royals. But talk about this one. I think my interest more resides on the White Sox side of things against Lorenzen. I don't think Lorenzen's any good. And this White Sox team has been sneakily one of the best teams in baseball over the last month and a half. Nobody plays them either outside of the top two or outside of Vargas, really, because his dual position eligibility and 3,400. The rest of the team are going to be probably unowned here. I think it's a really interesting spot. What do you see here in Chicago?
Truly, if I was going to play this game, I'd game stack it and just play both sides of it and hope it ends up being a softball game between two teams that really aren't very good. Because, I mean, once Montgomery came into this lineup for the White Sox, it seemed like they figured out how to hit all of a sudden as a group. So, yeah, Montgomery going to that lineup, and Kyle Teal's been hitting the ball pretty well. Talkman's pretty cheap. But Montgomery definitely made that team a little bit better. So I don't mind that. I think, I think I'd rather have the Royals side, even though I do respect the White Sox side, especially the way they've been hitting. You mentioned they're like 6-0 the last couple of weeks. So they've been doing pretty well. But, you look at this, I just can't stand even playing the Royals. But, I mean, Bobby Witt, I think, is going to be pretty high owned today. Perez will probably get some ownership. I think he's definitely in play. Michael Garcia has been hitting pretty well. I'm not really interested in somebody like a Randall Grichuk. I mean, the bottom part of that lineup could get ugly really quick. But I think like Perez, like if you wanted to go Perez, maybe Vinny P and Witt and Garcia, I think maybe I'd stay up at the top part of the lineup, maybe mini some of the Royals. But I think Bobby Witt, he's always a good play. He's like really the only guy that I feel comfortable even playing. But yeah, I think the Royals are interesting, more of a mini. But like I said, if I'm going to play this one, I think I just put it in the old Saber sim and tell it to give me a game stack and figure out how to come out of it, Nades. Because I mean, I truly could see this game being like a 12-9 game. Like, I mean, it just seems like two bad teams. I definitely could see this one getting some, but I just wouldn't want to just put my neck out on one team. But I guess if I'm MME and got a bunch of teams, I'd keep both teams in the pool. I just don't love either side of it. And you all know how I feel about the Royals.
Yeah, I think the White Sox are a little interesting here. I think more people click the Royal side of things. Temperatures in the mid to low 70s here. Some slight wind blowing out right around 5 to 10 miles an hour is what I'm looking to hear in the Windy City in Chicago. Obviously, that can always flip on a dime out there in Chicago. But I think the White Sox right in the hot hand with the White Sox more as mini stacks, but they fit. I like the White Sox a ton because they fill positions that you need to fill often on your rosters, right? Guys like Brooks Baldwin, third base, you can play him at. Meadross, second base. Montgomery, shortstop, right? Sosa, second base, first base. They're not loaded with outfielders. Obviously, they got Robert, Benintendi, and Tauchman, but they fit really good with with teams that have loaded outfields. So that's kind of why I like the White Sox a lot. Is just their position eligibility, which makes a big difference when you're building teams. Next game on the slate, St. Louis Pirates. No interest for me in bats in this one. I hate the ballpark. If I had to pick a side, it'd be the Cardinals side. Pirates, I'm just not playing against a ground ball guy, even as bad as Palante can be. The Pirates are worse. They're just not a good ball team at all. Mitch Keller, not a great pitcher, but serviceable enough. Cardinals, not a great offense, in my opinion. This is a cross-off. Anything you see here for me?
I mean, if you need a cheap second baseman, you can play Ronnie Simon, who's hitting leadoff, and he's basically free. I mean, if you wanted to look there, I mean, that'd be about it. I mean, I've noticed Simon's been there at top line. Actually, haven't been doing too bad, but I mean, like I said, he's basically, a good punt. I feel, especially hitting leadoff. Yeah,
no, definitely. You can always get on board with a min-priced punt there. But yeah, not a game that I love for offense. Takes us to another game I don't love for offense, but projections do like it. The Texas side and the Angels side both going to get owned here. Patrick Corbin has been very serviceable this year. Angels do have a lot of power, especially against lefties. Guys like Ward, Odell, O'Hop, Trout, Neto. The top of this lineup murders left-handed pitching. Is it the night where the Angels are going to do it? I just hate this ballpark. It's been the worst park in baseball this year in terms of StatCast numbers for their park factor. But what do you see here in this one?
I mean, Corbin is just one of those guys that can be frustrating at times. You stack up against him, and then he comes out. He's like Robbie Ray. We'll put him in the same kind of bucket. But, I mean, his strikeouts have been just a little bit below average. He's been walking 9% of his lefties, 7% of righties. His ground ball has been up 45% to the left side. I mean, the right side's been hitting him a little harder as far as the WOBA goes. But his hard hit rate's almost at 52%. To the right side, 37% to the left side. So, I mean, we know that the Angels got some power here in their lineup. I mean, Neto, Trout, Ward, Adele. I mean, I think Trout would be the one I'd leave out of those three. Adele's been hitting lefties pretty well here in recent times. Ward's been hitting lefties well. Neto, 435 WOBA, Ward, 452. Adele's at 622. So, I don't mind those guys here, but and that Angel bullpen's pretty shitty here on the other side. We already talked about Kikuchi here a little bit today, but I mean, I just think the right-handed power, missing those couple bats that they're missing, definitely sets back the Rangers a little bit. But I mean, they still got Wyatt Langford, who does hit lefties pretty well. Duran's been hasn't been too bad. So, I mean, it's just I just think it's a pretty decent spot for Kikuchi. There's all kinds of Ks in that Ranger lineup that can be had. So, Yeah, I think I'd rather prefer to play Kikuchi than to go against the Rangers. And if, the Optos are going to drag some people into some Ranger ownership, then I'm fine with that. But I think I'd rather play some of the righties against Corbin.
Yeah, I agree. I like Taylor Ward and Joe Adell a lot. If you need to add in another guy, Hop doesn't break the bank. 4,500, 4,100, 3,300. Really good mini stack there. I like those three a ton. I think they're some really good mini stack candidates on this slate here. And then, no Rangers interest for me. If you had to pick a guy, I would look at Adolis Garcia there, but I'm more on Kikuchi. Kikuchi is overall my favorite pitcher on the slate. I'm not playing a team that I think projections are gonna push a little bit at those salaries to afford the Dylan Ceases and the Hunter Browns of the world. So I'm out on the Texas side of that game. Next game, Rockies, Astros. This game is pretty easy for me on one side. I'm not playing any Rockies against Hunter Brown and that Astros bullpen. As bad as Tanner Gordon is, I don't love the Astros here, and I think it's going to be a correlation piece that people and optimizers are going to put these Houston bats against Gordon with Hunter Brown a lot because you get the natural correlation there, and Houston is affordable, at least with mini stacks for sure, but even 5-man, I mean, when your bats are living in that low to mid 4K range outside of one of your guys right in like a Pena or an Altuve, you can still 5-stack them with Hunter Brown in like a mid-tier pitcher. So I think that's going to be a common roster construction build. Be worried when you do that. Obviously, we know Gordon is terrible. That Rockies bullpen is terrible. This park is also terrible. So you got a couple things working for you here. Sanchez would be my favorite guy from the Astros side, just playing the back half of that lineup to get some lower ownership there. But I'm not as enthused as what the field is here with Houston. But what do you see in this one?
Yeah, this one's kind of hard for me because, I mean, you sit there and you look at Tanner Gordon. I'm thinking to myself, do I want to totally discount playing against the worst damn team in baseball who can't do nothing right? Like, they can't pitch, they can't hit, they can't do shit. It's got to be miserable being in that locker room. And I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, I don't like to play the Astros. Well, I've said it numerous times. I don't like to play the Astros against righties. But, I mean, how much of this Tanner Gordon we going to get? Like, before last start, he had 92 pitches, and then he was in the mid-70s, high 60s. So it's like, what am I thinking? I'm only 4 innings, and then I'm going to get half of a game with a shit-ass bullpen against a lineup today that's got Alvarez back. So, I mean, they got to be pretty happy with that. But, I mean, it's just hard to love it, right? I mean, but I'm thinking, like, you would think almost how many of the teams in baseball nades wouldn't be in this situation, wouldn't be the chalkiest team on the slate. Like, so I feel like in a sense, in a weird way, I'm getting a little discount by playing some Astros because in my opinion, they probably should be probably a little higher owned than actually they are just because of the matchup against the Rockies. Like we've seen, already the Rockies. I think the last time when the Rockies had the Astros in town when they were in Colorado, if I remember, nobody wanted to play the Astros and the Astros nuked them. So I still think, Nades, like, I don't want to discount how bad these Rockies are. Like, I think they're just that bad. So I think because of that, like, and I think if I'm getting a discount off a situation that probably 90% of the teams would end up being chalk on the other side of this game, like, I feel like maybe going a little overboard on some Astros might be the right play today. I hate it. But I just think the logic is there. Like, I feel like that Rockies are so bad. Like, it's like hard not to want to attack it.
I just think more people are going to click on them. I think we're light on ownership here. I think with Yordan Alvarez coming back in this lineup at his price point of 4,500, I mean, I just think everybody runs to the Astros because you can stack them. And they're a decent team. It's just Sanchez would be my favorite bat. I think a Sanchez Caratini mini stack 6-7 is pretty interesting there. But I mean, I don't know. I want the lefties mainly, Caratini, Sanchez, and then obviously if you want to play Alvarez too, coming off the IL there, he's always a great bat. But I mean, I think he's going to be probably the highest owned bat I would say on the slate at his price point, 4,500. First game back, people haven't been able to play him. And it's the nut spot for him to come back in. I'm just a little worried about this spot and the ballpark. I just hate this ballpark. I just don't think it's a very good ballpark for hitting. And metrics would tend to agree with me too. Yeah. So I mean, as bad as the Rockies pitching staff is and bullpen is, Vegas knows that as well. I know a lot of this run total in this game is on the Astro side of it, but still, I'm a little worried about this because their price points are so cheap. It allows you to pair Hunter Brown easily with them and then play kind of whoever else you want. So a little worried about them. They're a good stack for sure, but I'm looking elsewhere. If I'm spending up for an offense, or if I'm playing a chalkier offense, it's going to be a spot that we're going to talk about here in a little bit. Next game on the slate, Cubs, Giants. Terrible ballpark here. Verlander's not been great. Kyle Tucker's starting to hit the ball again. He's 5,800. Michael Busch. The issue I have with the Cubs is they're expensive, and that Giants bullpen is really good behind Verlander, and I just don't think they leave Verlander out there to dry, especially against the Cubs team that's contending overall in the standings. So not much interest for me in this one from a hitting standpoint, but what do you see here in San Fran?
Yeah. I think the Cubs are interesting just because maybe Tucker got his head out of his ass. Maybe he's lifting up his shirt so he can see out his belly button or something. Because, I mean, he finally figured out how to hit over the last weekend here against the Angels. That dude was just lost, like just deeply lost. Like, he was bad news for a while. I mean, he was getting booed and shit out there. But, I mean, I guess if I was deeper, having maybe 10 teams, I would probably leave some Cubs in it just because they, any night you can get the Cubs or a team like the offense like that fairly low owned. I think you just got to consider it for that reason. And Verlander is prone to give up homers. Obviously, we don't like the park, but I mean, the Giant bullpen is pretty good, but I just think for as powerful as that offense is, I think, you get them low owned. It's definitely worth a shot if you're playing a bunch of teams, but it's just, especially with Tucker hitting a little bit, maybe they'll figure it all out. But I don't love it, but I wouldn't discount it. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to stack it. I think one-offs, two-man stacks are what I'd include. I'm not going to five-man stack in this ballpark against that bullpen. I don't care if it's the Cubs. I'll leave mini stacks like a Tucker, Busch mini stack if it hits. Something like that, I think is fine. But yeah, not a game I'm going out of my way to focus on stacking. However, this next game, I am going back to the well here. Tigers hurt my feelings last night. I think that lowers their ownership a little bit, but their ownership is just not going to be inflated. And I talked about it outside of Colt Keith like yesterday. This team's just not going to get played very much because they're expensive. The guys you want to play are 5K, 5,600. Feels a little crazy to be playing these price points for some of these games. I mean, Zach McKinstry at 4,300. But, I mean, facing Beto and this atrocious A's pitching staff in mid-80s, the warmest temperatures on the slate with 10 to 15-mile-an-hour winds blowing out in this minor league park. Didn't happen last night. I'm going right back to the well here. Give me the Tigers. Tigers my top stack on the slate here. The A's side of things, I think you could play some A's against Morton, but I'm more on the side of the Morton train of this one. If you want to go back, Nick Kurtz, Rooker, Soderstrom. Kurtz should be back in there. Got a day off yesterday. My interest is much more on the Tigers side of this game, though. I'll let you talk about your homeboys. Where you see
Michael. Yeah, you're right. Tigers owe me some money from last night. Damn it. I had a FanDuel in that monster. I was sitting 20th. I had freaking Warren. I had Rice, Chisholm, and Judge sitting there waiting on the Tigers. I'm like, dude, my boys are going to get the job done. And only Torres could do anything. I think McKinstry hit one to the warning track late that could have put me up in the top 5. He caught it on the track. But, yeah, we're going back to that spot. I mean, the A's are terrible. That park is like, it's just not playing like a big league park, obviously, because the stand's not behind it. It is a little cooler out there. I really like the Tiger side of it. I mean, you mentioned, all the lefties there that they have. Colt Keith. You got Carpenter. You obviously got Riley Green. Either Riley Green hits a home run or he strikes out, it seems like, here in recent times. But, yeah, I mean, like when I'm stacking up my teams and then I end up looking like, yeah, who do I got? Yep. Most times it's against the shittiest bullpens in baseball. I'm going up against the same 4 or 5 teams, it just seems like, and it seems to be working out fairly well. So, yeah, I'm going to go right back to the well here with the Tigers. They lost last night with their ace on the hill. But, yeah, I think the Tigers get the job done here today. And as far as the other side, I'm torn. I think, the A's could get some ownership here tonight against Morton, but I just think Morton with coming to the Tigers, they rant and rave against the pitching coach here. So I think, Chris Fetter, him coming here, he's fixed, quite a few guys along the way. I think maybe he did point out something. They mentioned that Morton's made a few adjustments in recent time, which I think has helped his breaking pitches I was talking about. But yeah, I think the Tigers are in a really good spot. I mean, we're sitting here at a game total 11, like we've been saying. It's a new Coors Field. It's Coors Field 2.0. So I mean, it's just a really good spot here. I think the Tigers get the job done. I mean, overall too, the Tigers overall are one of the better hitting teams in all of baseball for the entire season. So it's just definitely something. The last 30 days, Tigers and the OPS are third overall in baseball. So it's not like, we're playing a team that's been struggling like they were maybe a month ago. Tigers figured it out here as soon as Kerry Carpenter came back. So, yeah, give me some of them Tigers. I'd put them up there in my favorite stacks.
Yeah, Tigers are my top stack. I really like the wraparound. I'm going right back to McKinstry. I think he's a great play. Wenzel Perez smashes Riley Green, Carpenter, Colt Keith. Colt Keith's ownership, I'm not too worried about it. Third base is a terrible position. I'm fine eating that chalk. He does have a little bit of pinch hit concern there, but if the Tigers, score 6-7 runs, it's not going to matter. And even they might even leave him in against the lefty. As shitty as that bullpen is for the A's there. Best hitting weather and environment on the slate by far, and it's not even a question. And ownership's going to be held in check due to their salaries and the way the slate shakes up. So give me all the Tigers here tonight. Going right back to the well. Last game on the slate, Reds and the Dodgers. Nick Martinez on the mound. Late night Dodgers seem a little interesting here. Dodgers are going to be higher owned, it looks like, than what the Tigers are going to be, which is kind of interesting to me. Reds bullpen is another bullpen that's not very good in general. Dodgers, not the same team, man. The Dodgers, I don't know what's up with this team. They just have not been the same team this season. Obviously, their injuries and things in the back half of that lineup gets watered down pretty quickly. You sort by OPS against right-handed pitching here. Dodgers kind of sit in middle of the pack overall against righties. What's your take? What's your break here? I have the Dodgers kind of fourth or fifth for me. I think they're fine, but I like other teams more overall. And that's kind of where I leave it. But what do you see here?
Yeah, I'd like to like the Dodgers, but I just can't buy into it. So they just been struggling. They're hitting like 230 as a team here in the last few weeks. But Nick Martinez isn't anybody we're really going to fear. He doesn't strike any righties out. He's at 14%. His ground ball percentage is higher to the right side, 42%. He keeps the ball on the ground, doesn't really let it get in the air. But he does get barreled up by lefties at a 9% rate. So obviously Freddie, Shohei, Conforto would be somebody I'd look at. But like you mentioned, the Dodgers just haven't been hitting overall as a team. Don't seem to be turning that lineup over. We do have a total of 9. So I wouldn't discount the Dodgers. I'd probably put them in my top 5s a stack today. But I just don't love it. I just think there's some other spots that I just liked a little bit more. But I think they grade out pretty decent here today.
Yeah, I tend to agree. It is decent weather here. It seems like it. Yeah, we're to the time of the year, right, where the weather kind of flips. Out west is warm at night. Midwest and East Coast drops back down. Gets cold. I woke up this morning and I actually wore pants out on the golf course. It was like 45 degrees. Which is quite the shift from about 4 weeks ago when it was 95 and you walk outside and instantly start sweating. So it's to the point of the season now where weather makes a big difference, obviously, in these ballparks. And these West Coast games come more in handy. The warmest temperatures on the slate are in Seattle, Sacramento, and LA. If that tells you what it is. We're not talking St. Louis. We're not talking the New York. We're not talking the Midwest anymore. We're talking out west. So Dodgers, I think they're fine, but they kind of fall middle of the line. I would focus on the lefties, Freeman, Ohtani, Freeland, Conforto first, and then figure in what righties fit around that. I'm not playing Mookie Betts. I'll tell you that right now. I'm not a Mookie Betts guy, and he's the most popular Dodger always because he's 4,400. DraftKings never moves his price anywhere. That's all 12 games. Did want to hit on our boy Michael. Congrats shipping the $1 single entry last night on DK rocking the logo. We do not give anything for the logo unless you are a member. If you are a member, you do have access into the Saber Sim Winners Circle, which is their funded and their backed program that they do with the different prizes and the breakdowns there. If you go to shipitnation.com/games or ShipItGames, it will break that down. So if you are a member, Michael, hit us up in the Discord at any of us in the Discord, and we can help you out with that. But we do appreciate you rocking the logo there. Nice little good mojo your way. Congrats on the shipper last night.
We'll get your autograph, Nate.
Yeah, autographed picture of Spencer Torkelson from Gyirashin's collection that he has that he was ready to light on fire until this year. So Gyiraszin, that's all 12 games. Big boy contest here. Let's run the show out. Your favorite 3 pitchers, your favorite 2 stacks, a sneaky stack. So same thing. 2 favorite pitchers, your a sneakier pitcher, 2 favorite snacks, a sneakier stack, and then a home run call for the people.
I got Brown, Kikuchi, and then my little guy nobody's going to play is Charlie Morton. I think he's going to get the job done. And then 2 sneaky stack. We'll go Brewers. I do like the Tigers tonight. I also like, what's my other favorite? I'll go Houston. I think Houston's in a pretty good spot here tonight too against the shitty Colorado team. But as far as home runs go, I don't want anybody to fall off their chair. I'm going to name a Royal, and that would be Bobby Witt. I think Bobby Witt leads off the game with the home run. So we'll give a little Bobby Witt leadoff homer. And then after that, I was going to tell you that Riley Green's probably going to hit a homer, if not 2 here today. So, but I think Bobby Witt's in a good spot here. But, yeah, tough slate as far as pitching goes. I just think you got to avoid the bombs here tonight. But I don't think you're going to lose it. I don't think there's that many high end, but I do think Hunter Brown's a guy. I mean, it's about as safe as we've seen all year, in my opinion. So I think Brown's a guy that we gotta really lock in.
Yeah, for me, I'm going Hunter Brown like everybody else. I really, really love Kikuchi. I really hope this ownership stays true. Even if it doesn't, I'm fine. I'm going in on Kikuchi here tonight. And then my sneakier one is Matthew Boyd pitching out in that Giants park out there. I think his strikeout upside is there, and I like him as a direct pivot right there off of Dylan Cease. In a similar range, my top overall stack on the slate is going to be the Tigers, then the Blue Jays, and then the Brewers. Those are my 3 favorite stacks. The Brewers is my low-owned stack. I don't think many people are going to go to them. I will continue stacking against that Arizona bullpen. I don't think Brandon Pfaadt is very good, especially against lefties. Brewers are built to beat up right-handed pitching in general. And then my home run call of the evening is going to the 5 spot on Toronto. Addison Barger going to take Bailey Ober deep over the wall tonight in Rogers Center. That's going to do it. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a ton. NFL, Gyiraszin, we're right around the corner. Next Thursday kicks off the NFL season. Look no further than ShipItNation.com. If you're not a member, get in. $349 covers your entire NFL season along with college football for no additional bonus. We cover every college football slate there is, projections, a stone, ownership, all the tools we have. Obviously, we have the partnership with SaberSim as well, which does come with it. But all of our tools alone, like the stone that we just walked through, come with all of the sports that we do offer. And then NFL. We just had our NFL meeting today, breaking down the content there. Couple new shows coming for premium subscribers only with our guy Sheets in Rio talking on process, talking with SaberSim, talking on some Survivor stuff, lineup review, everything we have. NFL got you covered. And there's more. Ship It Games, of course, is the big one. It's up to $79,267 in prize pools, only to go up from here. First place right now is currently playing for over $20,000 cash. Cold hard cash as a free roll. No additional cost. You do not have to pay extra money at all. You get your ballots through being a member. Good luck tonight in those contests. Hope to see those Ship It Nation logos at the top. For Gyiraszin, I'm Nades. Let's ship it.